Okay, how are you? We are just finishing the project with MediaLab. We have the next 2 weeks ahead to close down everything and to prepare like a final document, and we are also preparing to do the following Wednesday a final workshop with citizens and the city council and people from city council, just to make like a mock-up of our proposal. So
okay, that sounds good.
and the other day I was checking the documents that you send me about your priorities and better Reykjavik, and I take some notes here to ask and to discuss some things with you, and I'm trying to find it. Okay, here. Okay, yeah. Well, about your priorities were a couple of things that I really like it. First of all, this thing that you have in the argument, that you are separating the points for and against, so it's not like above, and so we can start a discussion. And also one thing that I think it was interesting, that you have in your priorities, when you go in the first interface of your priorities, you have like create community. And I wanted to ask about this, because I don't know how it works. I mean, it's like communities outside. It's not linked. These communities are not linked with the specific projects or proposal. Am I right? It's like communities of I don't know, gardens in the city, or communities about whatever. You can create your community about whatever you want.
It can be different. I mean, yes, you could create a community around the specific project or proposal, but in most cases, the community would be closer to like what a community is in the offline world. So it could be a city or a town or a neighborhood or even yeah, like a small area where people want to do something, or where they live, or where they work, or you see what I mean? Just like a community in the traditional sense. And then inside that, you would be creating like groups to use inside that community.
Okay, but then when you, I mean, if you want to create a community around whatever topics you want, you click on that, and that one, what happened next? I mean, what the digital platform offers you as a community?
Really, it is just like a normal hierarchy, in the sense that you have your priorities on top, then on the next level you have communities, and then on the third level you have groups. Not exist outside of communities. So if you have a project in which you only need one group, a very specific thing maybe, then you still have to create a community which only contains one group. So
okay.
So what is happening, for example, in the city of Reykjavik, is that we create new groups for different projects, but we just have the overall community. So it's a bit of an overkill for when you don't only need one group to work with, but it doesn't really matter, because it takes less than 5 minutes to create a new community.
Okay, and so then, and these groups which are, as you said, are linked with a proposal, for example, who manage these groups? I mean, for example, the city council has anything to do with them, or
that's totally different in different cases. I mean, in some cases, like with the city of Reykjavik, it's commonly managed by the Citizens Foundation and the city of Reykjavik. In other instances where we are working with, like in Scotland, we're working with a NGO called Democratic Society, DEMSOC, and we create the communities and the group inside those communities for their participatory budgeting projects, and then the Democratic Society people with the local councils manage the groups after the creation, and we're sort of at the end, if they have any problems or anything, then they refer to us, and most of the time it's something that we like fix within the hour or something like that. So it's totally different depending on how it's done. I mean, if your without asking us, which nobody needs to do, there's some, let's say a group that wants to work with immigrants wants to use your priorities to find out what would be the best ideas for them to help the immigrants. Then they would go there and they would create their own community, and they would create also the group inside that, and they never need to contact us. They can just use that as they want to, as long as they don't break the rules of your priorities. And basically, the rules of your priorities is more or less the United Nations humanitarian, you know what I mean? It's just basic things about how you behave towards other people.
Okay, so then I don't know how to explain, but the platform, I mean, when you create a group, that group doesn't have a specific governance, let's say, linked to that through the platform. The groups can organize wherever they want, or regarding the specifics of the project or the topic or whatever.
They can have it if they create a secret group, then it's nobody sees it except for them. If it's an open group and if it gets a lot of traffic, then it will go to the front page of your priorities.
Okay, you can create secret groups. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, although I haven't checked that in a while, but I think you can.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'm just gonna make sure I wasn't telling you anything wrong. Yeah, you can create a secret group. There are actually 3 levels of group and community access, and one is public, which is the default, which everything is open and everybody can see it if they either know the link or if it's popular enough that it becomes visible on your priorities.
Okay.
You can also have it closed so that other people can see it. They cannot see what's happening inside it, but they know that the group is or the community is there. Or you can have it secret, which means that nobody knows about it except the people that you invite.
Okay.
And what you can also do is you can have a community. Let's say that you create an open community and one open group inside that community, and then you can create another group inside that community which is secret. So people will go into your community and they will only see your open group, but they will not know that you have a secret group. So you can use that for like internal managing if you want to do that within like a smaller group or something like that.
Okay.
But just to be sure, or just to be clear on one thing, we are definitely not we definitely would prefer people always to use only the open group, because
Yeah, of course.
we believe in transparency and we believe that information should be out in the open. But we also have to be realistic, and there have been a lot of questions coming from people asking us before we had the secret groups, asking us, we really need the secret group for our organization, otherwise our enemies or opponents will come and waste our time and maybe damage our project. So that's why this possibility exists, because people specifically asked for it.
Okay. No, I mean, it's interesting because, in fact, we have this debate last week with the rest of people of CivicWise who is working in this project about this, about if we need to make this kind of work groups or communities around projects, let them the possibility to be closed or secret, or I don't know. So because sometimes people doesn't want to be like, I don't know, exposed, or I don't know, whatever. It's a complicated situation, and
it's a very human thing. Is that
yeah,
we speak differently within a closed group of people that we all know than when we know that we are speaking to the world. It's very understandable, for sure.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the problem with this very human thing is that it tends to lead us into like secrecy and stuff like that. So it's not something we can block or want to block, but we have to be aware that it doesn't lead us into just creating small groups of people that all agree on everything and don't go anywhere, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. There's another thing that I didn't understand very well how it works, and is that I saw that in the digital tool said that the minorities and majorities has the same an equal weight in the views of the platform. I mean, you can right now, for example, in Madrid, in the city of Madrid, when you go inside, proposals with more views are on the top of all of them. So this is also like a thing to debate, because then proposal who hasn't not so much support or views are going to go lower and lower, and no one is going to know about that proposal. And I think that in your priorities it doesn't work like this, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, what happens is that it went away. This is obviously a matter of how you choose in the programming, or in the design for the programming, how you choose what is popular or what is important. And what we have on your priorities is we have different data points that we can use to display in a different way. And one of them is obviously how many people have supported an idea. And that's our main data point for deciding whether it's a popular thing or not. But we also have the point form again, and what happens in your priorities, because the debate system is designed the way it is that not only do we get lots more points for an idea, that is positive points on why it's a good idea or how it should be improved possibly, but we actually also use the points against count as well, because we don't get abuse in there, we don't get spam or abusive comments or people trying to make a little of other people's or other people's points or even we basically, because now the interface of time basically get positive data into our system with very, very few exceptions.
Okay. 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 What was one moment in the middle that you were talking that the sound was not very well, but it's okay. I think that the main idea is like
yeah,
I got it.
I can try and repeat it, not the exact same, but it's if you want me to do that, it's no problem.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think that I get it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
It's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then about better neighborhoods. I have doubt that because in our case in the CIE Madrid, one of the main problems is that some of the proposals are not very defined. I mean, are like too general, and the proposal made by citizens sometimes are like too, I mean, ambiguous or general. It's like two sentences that say we want to put trees on the city. I don't know, but it's not that, but it's like not so defined. And then city council has to take that and like build execution project from that. And I don't know if you have some kind of the same problem there. If I don't know how are the proposals that people made through pay the neighborhoods or through your priorities, if are more or less defined, are good enough, or sometimes you find this kind of problem?
No, yes, this is definitely the weakest point in the PBs, in the participatory budgeting project that I have looked at. And basically, well, in better neighborhoods, we talk specifically about that. Some of the proposals coming in are quite well thought out and quite detailed, and with people sometimes taking photos and then drawing on the photos or using Google Maps to show how their project is thought out and things like that. And this has actually been getting better every year, and especially this year when we use the new version of your priorities for the idea generation, because it is based on or uses it's much more graphical than the old version was. So it encourages people to add their graphics, which helps a lot of people that are maybe not all really good with text, but good with showing what they're thinking in a graphical way. So one thing that's obviously happened here is that, oh yeah, and also those ideas are much more likely to get voted and going onwards. So that's one way that things are getting better, and that's when people are using participating not for the first time, but maybe for the third or fourth or even fifth time, then people learn, because basically people are not stupid. It's like people, they see, oh wow, that's cool that person is doing. I can learn from this. Or yeah, I remember last time what was working, and like, yeah, let's do more of that. So
Okay.
that's one thing, is that both the interface being better and more encouraging to present your idea with some work behind it, but also obviously, as you guys will learn, I think next year, if you repeat the process, then people know better how to do it after they've done it once. I mean, that's common sense, obviously. On the other hand, this is a problem also with better neighborhoods, in the sense that after the ideas have been sent in, only a limited number of them go onwards into the voting process itself. It's 20 ideas per each neighborhood. and we had, I think, I don't remember the exact number, but it was 900 and something. Hold on, I'm finding a slide here. Right there. Yeah, and we had 911 ideas coming in from the idea generation for this year's Better Neighborhood, but there were only 200 ideas being voted on. And one criteria is obviously how many people supported each idea, but also what happens is that a lot of ideas get thrown out because they are not applicable, maybe on grounds that the city doesn't own, or all kinds of other things, too expensive, etc. But it also gives a lot of power to the city planning department, because they can, well, not quite pick and choose, but they do have quite a bit of the influence on what ideas will go on and what ideas will not go on. So that's actually something that has been annoying some people, because they have comments that, why is my idea not here? It was not that expensive, and and maybe it was because their idea didn't get enough support, or maybe it was because there was a similar idea or another idea that the planning thought was a better idea, which is obviously not the crowdsourcing mentality, if you see what I mean, but it's still using the expertise of those people, so it's not like it's all bad or corruption or anything, because the rules are really clear from the start. That much for Better Neighborhood. So in a more general way, is that there is a way to do this much better, but I don't think anybody has done it as of yet, or not that I've heard of. And it takes more time and obviously money as well. And that is to have a second round of the ideas, where you have already filtered out impossible ideas, too expensive, etc. And then you throw the ideas into the second round, and that round is not for deciding how popular they are or not. It's for people to add to the ideas, for people to say, okay, we should be doing this like that, and have a debate on what is the best way to do the idea. And this would be some, to a certain point, like designing the idea by the people. And this would, as far as I know, there's no specific software available today to do this, but it wouldn't need to be that complicated. But it would add another layer to the process. And as for in Better Neighborhood here, I don't see anything soon, because the current process is quite taxing for the city as it is. So it's quite a lot of work. So I don't think we're interested in having more work, if you see what I mean. But this is definitely something that would be possible to do.
And you said at the beginning that people can use like graphic description of their proposals.
Yes, if you add an idea to your priorities, you're encouraged to add at least one photo or one picture, and sometimes some people added more than that, but you can as well if you want to.
Okay.
So let me see. I can find an example of this for sure. Just a moment. Things are loading. Most of what people did this year was to find pictures from somewhere else and saying we should do this here.
Okay.
I can give you one example here. Just a moment. pasted the link on the chat. It should be to your right somewhere.
Yeah,
There were actually also quite a few ideas where people were drawing in on the. Yes, here is one example where people are using mostly photos to illustrate what they're trying to say. And there are very few items that got into the voting that don't have any graphical elements at all. Yeah, here's probably the best example of what I was telling you about. Sorry it took so long. The last one really illustrates that quite well, in that there's this photo and it says in Icelandic, you see that thing already? It's got a
the last one is
logo, and the bubble on the left says grown-ups, older people, social activities, and then on the right the bubble says activities with a program. So there's like different. One of them is open where people are going, and then the red line says we need to have heating in the pavement between those two places, because the older people are going there in the winter between those two places, and it's not good if it's frozen, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
So this is an example of what I was saying. Really simple stuff. Somebody probably did that in Paint or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take any expertise, but adds quite a lot to the text, because with only the text you wouldn't really know what the idea is of. Without the picture you wouldn't really know as well what the idea is about.
Yeah, it's interesting this idea to promote people to do this kind of things through the tool, to add some graphic description I think it's good.
And it's the thing that we found out is that it not only does it add to the sort of the idea itself, but what it really does is it makes things. It can make things go viral, if you see what I mean. Because if you just see a drawing, then or a photo, then it's much more interesting than just text. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And also you said that you have for example this first step you have like 900 proposals or ideas, and then what I didn't understand very well is how do you select which proposals are going to be done, and how you inform citizens that their proposal, for example, if I made a proposal or an idea and goes to city council and city council doesn't select to do it, how city council inform me that it's not going to be a selected idea, and if he give me some information about why it's not my idea selected.
I mean, the selection process is quite simple. example, number one, it's the number of votes, or it's not really votes, but the number of people that support the idea in the idea generation phase. That's one item. And if the ideas are not possible for some reason, and obviously they don't go onwards, and then it's the Reykjavik City Planning Department which has some say in this, but also, especially if there are missing ideas or if there are not enough ideas, which doesn't happen anymore, but used to happen, or also if the ideas that have been selected are not, I don't know how to be expensive. The neighborhood councils of Reykjavik, there's a neighborhood council for every neighborhood, and if they can see that there are lots of ideas that are only within a specific area of that neighborhood, but not any project in other areas, then they can take out one idea and put in another or things like that.
Okay, so okay, so they can, for example, I don't know, erase or merge two or three or ideas that are the same, and just inform. They inform. I guess that they inform the citizen that made that idea.
That's what should be happening, but which the city has not always had the resources to do that. But it's something that's really important. Is that at the moment, or when you know which ideas are going to go onwards, then they really should be going. This is something to do within your system. Is if you change the status of an idea, which only administrators can do. So you would change it to accepted or denied, for example, and then you have a small box for writing explanations into. And when you hit submit, then both the idea should change its status, but also there goes an email to everybody that interacted with that idea.
Okay.
And the problem has been that there has not, like I said, the city hasn't had the resources to do that properly all the time. I'm not sure how it was this year, to be honest.
Okay. And well, a general question is that through the system, do you have more proposals from communities or individual, or you don't have any data about this, or yes, I don't know?
We don't really know. In that sense, we don't have like specific data on that. But inferring from what we see, then it's almost all of these days is individual. The only sort of organizations that we know that have been active as organizations, that Reykjavik in particular, are the cyclist lobbying group, the dog owners wanting to have what's called like a dog fence. It's like a small place where they can have a dog running without a leash. And I think there was a third group, but I'm not sure. I've forgotten what it was, but that doesn't really matter, because the main thing is that almost all the ideas that I have been looking at are sent in by individuals. Those individuals may or may not belong to a group, but it's still being sent in as individuals.
Yeah, okay. For example,
strictly speaking, if we would go exactly by the rules of Reykjavik, then we would not allow groups to create users on the system. But as it has not been a problem, I can recall it happening once, and it was meant in a good way, and they were just trying to further their making better schools for the children. Then we didn't do anything about it, because it was not against the spirit of the Better Reykjavik, if you see what I mean. Even though strictly speaking thinking it was a breach of the rule.
Yeah, but no, of course, and I think that
we believe in doing as little administration as we possibly can, because every intervention, every negative intervention has negative results, or negative things coming out of it, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, here, for example, it's also that most proposal comes from individuals, not from organization or collectives or associations or communities or whatever. But it's true that the proposal that comes from very good organized communities, for example, as you said, this bikes rider lobby, that proposals go farther. I mean, and that proves that if you have like a network behind you, if you have an organization, if you have an organized group behind the proposal, you're going to have more chance to make it, to have the proposal done. Instead of trying to make your own, or I don't know how to say. So I think it could be interesting to, of course, I think that this kind of tools and processes has to have both options. I mean, you can make a proposal as an individual or as a community or as an association, wherever, but it was good to try to explain this to citizens that, okay, you can make it as your own, but if you are able to build like a group around your proposal, a group of people that are agree with you, and if the digital tools allows you or facilitate this association, is going to be better for you. It's going to be better for your proposal to go further. So,
I mean, we have actually always, when asked, we always encourage pressure groups to participate in Better Reykjavik and on Better Neighborhood. There's two basic reasons for that. One is that it's much better to have the pressure group's opinions out in the open than trying to influence the politicians and officials behind the curtains. And we believe that if the cyclist pressure group would, like, which they didn't, but if they would have gotten out of hand and somehow taken over the system, which I don't think is, well, it hasn't happened yet, and I'm not sure it's possible. But if they would have, then I'm pretty sure that the car people would have come in and countered that, if you see what I mean. Because and that's really also the second reason, is that democracy, like it or not, as we practice it and at its core, is about the rule of the majority. It's about the rule of the majority that participates. Whether you're talking voting or participative democracy, it doesn't really matter. Even if you're talking small meetings, the person that comes to the meeting prepared with ideas and stuff, that person generally owns that meeting, if you see what I mean. Unless there's another person that's also prepared, and then we have probably the best side of democracy, if you see what I mean. Then we have good information from both ends and people that are passionate for both ends, and then we hopefully have a good debate and just possibly a result that is listening to both sides. That's, of course, the idea, which we unfortunately don't get as often as we would like to. But the thing is that if, let's say, a cyclist people would be really a strong pressure group, then that's because there are a lot of people that believe in it. And when a lot of people believe in something in a democracy, then if there are much fewer people that don't believe in it, they should not be able to trust the others. like it or not. But on the other hand, obviously, this is a shortcoming of democracy. Is this ground rule that the majority rules is it's probably one of the worst things about democracy in a sad way, because something like reaching a consensus, which is a much better way of solving things whenever possible, tends often, not thankfully not always, but tends often to be left behind when somebody has a majority and they just force their things down the throats of the minority. So it's not a problem with any of the democracy software. It is a core issue with democracy. One of it, yeah, that's more or less what I can say about that. So there is no easy and simple rule saying this is good or this is bad. This is just different sides of democracy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's one of the, of the main debates about this kind of tools. Also, I mean, one thing that I think that you can do to try not to have this like this hegemony. I don't know if it's the word in English.
Harmony.
No, harmony. No, it's I don't know. It's I don't know that. If you don't, yeah, if you don't want to for that majority to rule so much. Because
how is it? Can you write it in the message box in Spanish? So
yeah.
Hegemon. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you don't want it that majority have that kind of power, because sometimes, I mean, when you have a system that you have to vote, for example, also in these digital tools, this conflict between majority and minority, I think is bigger, because it's accountable. I mean, it's like, okay, if I have just one vote more than you, it's going to be what I want. So it's like, it's not just about minorities. It can be even, almost even, and it's going to be what I want, because I have like one vote more. But so if you want to have this, like not to happen this, just to, and I think that, as you said, just to have this kind of debates, or when you can deliberate about how to take decisions and to make decisions together in this debate, even in this kind of ecosystems and vice, is going to be also the majority who is going to rule, and this majority in this kind of ecosystem, not voting but deliberating or debating and arguing, is going to be shown by I don't know, as you want. The majority is going to talk more, or the majority is going to have the debate better prepared or something. So it's going to be always this kind of not equilibrium between.
And I mean, you could even say it's just not fair, because it's, I mean, democracy ideally should not be about resources or about how much money you have, etc. But yeah, this is the world we live in. Unfortunately, when you have lots of time, you have an extra leverage, or when you have lots of money, you have extra leverage.
Yeah. Well, but this thing is also, I mean, I don't like also, I don't like neither this idea that all, for example, in one group, all of us has to have the same, or has to put the same time, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because this is like, why? I mean, we have different. I mean, it's going to happen. People is going to put maybe more time in one thing and another thing. So this is what I was saying. I mean, it's not about making this difference like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, I think, it's about trying to build a system or a logic that trying to do this. Mm-hmm. trying to re-equilibrate this kind of difference just to make it better, not to put, I mean, and that's what I was saying in a voting system. It's like this. I mean, it's like all the power is for that majority, and the minority doesn't have anything. So if you don't have this like voting system and you have like debate spaces and deliberating spaces, is going to be lower. And if you have another thing, I don't know, like trying to build tools and systems that trying to re-equilibrate this, is going to be, people cannot capitalize time, cannot capitalize, I don't know, whatever case may be, but never is going to be like this. And maybe it's not, neither is good to be like this, because it's not real. I mean,
yeah.
Whether you talk about money, but whether you talk about time, I don't know, resources and whatever, it's not going to be equal in any subject. I don't know. So, but it's a complicated issue. So
it's a complicated issue, and for sure. And I mean, there are ways to work around those things. Like, for example, just focusing on areas or communities where there is little money, and giving them more authority over their own issues and things like that. It's not like it's not like there's only one way to do this, because it's not. There are so many possibilities. So
yeah.
The thing that the part of the problem sometimes becomes that people how should I put this? People think that the most fair way to do things is by being mathematically equal. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's not. It's almost, it's a simplistic way of doing it, and sometimes it works, but in general, it's not the fairest way to do things. But can be so complicated to do it any other way. You see what I mean? Because then so that's the difficult part. But from my point of view, from what I've seen, is that this is something that people, when explained to them and when involved in those decisions, people understand that this is that fair is not like overall fair. You see what I mean? But yeah, it's a complicated issue for sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Just to move forward, there's another thing that I take here some notes. It's about one diagram that it was curious for me. It was the participation statistics. It was about a better neighborhood, and every year go lower, and then one year, I don't have here the graphic, but then one year goes bigger than any year. So I don't know. It was about what happened here. What happened this year? I don't know if you know the diagram that I'm talking about. I'm trying to find it.
Which one, about the number of ideas or the participation? Sorry,
no, the participation.
Yeah. So when you see the diagram, it's actually simple. In the 2013 and 2014, the things were generally being done more or less the same way as in 2012. with not an increase in the budget of the PP and not an increase in the marketing budget, and generally this is what happens with projects like this, or actually any web-oriented project. If it doesn't evolve, then it dies. And obviously it was not that, with a participation of 5.5%, but still on the way down. So in 2015, we actually managed to convince the city that they needed to improve the marketing budget.
Okay.
And also the marketing tactics. So in that year, they actually had us doing the online marketing for them mostly, but also working with them to educate the city administrative people. And then in 2016, basically two things happened. We kept on with a similar marketing strategy, but what happened was that the budget of the PP was raised from 300 million Icelandic kroner and up to 450 million, which is, sorry, I'll find the euro. It went from 2 million euros to 3 million euros, the total budget. So that was one thing, which I have no idea how much that affected things. But the other thing was that we were using the new version of your priorities, and basically people started sharing the ideas, and some of them went viral. So at one point in the beginning, I think after 3 or 4 waves of the idea generation, then we were seeing one idea was accounting for almost 50 or more than 15% of the usage, if you see what I mean. Mm-hmm. So having the graphical layout, having people able to play with the things, also in the voting system. The thing is that if you're doing any kind of e-democracy project, it has to be fun for people to participate. For the first time, people may do it because they think it's a good idea, or maybe because they think they ought to, but in general, they will not come again, and they will not participate more and more unless it's more fun than hanging out on Facebook. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? It's and yeah, it's actually, it doesn't have to compete with Facebook in that way, because obviously also people have the correct sense of having an effect on their surroundings and being able to have an influence on things, and that obviously counts as well, especially when they know or are told afterwards that their work has been useful.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's the best. People need, all of us need a reward for participating. It doesn't matter how patriotic we are, or what kind of, how much we love our neighborhoods, etc. We need some sort of reward for doing things. And one very simple reward, and one of the best ones, is that somebody is using the work. That your time was not spent on nothing, but your time was well spent and other people appreciate it. Most of us really find that a great reward, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and also, well, I just wanted to show you, well, just to finish by my part, if one thing that I wanted to show you is the, what is it? It's here. Well, about the work that we're doing. Mm-hmm. Well, we are starting to make like the graphic design for, well, I mean, not graphic design, but just to, whoa. So
yeah, the information design sort of.
Yeah.
No.
So we have, This should be better quality. I don't know why.
See if we could have think your stuff.
Ah, here, okay. Yeah, so here's like, I don't know if it seems so small or not.
No, I can't read it. I can read the headings, but I don't think I need to read it. But I can see what it is. It's a timeline on the first to the. Oh.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to download better because, and then I can. Hi, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear now.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. Okay, so here. Yeah, this is, I mean, we're start to, well, my computer is going a little bit slowly. Why I can't go?
That's strange.
Okay, more or less.
So, I mean, you can just download the PDF and send it to me as well.
Yeah, but I don't know why my keyboard.
Yeah, strange. I can see what you're trying to do, and it should work, but I have no idea why it's not.
I don't know what is happening. Why? Well, I don't know. Because right now it's downloaded. I mean, it's a PDF. I don't know what, whatever. More or less, it's just to show. I mean, I don't know if you have access to this folder. This is in Drive. If you don't, I can send you if you want to check it out. It's just it's just a first draft that we made about more or less what is the images of the project, that you can see like basic statistics here about the participation or support of the project and whatever in a timeline, for example, and here the timeline of the project, so you can see all the updates for the project for weeks, months, years, and also a search. And then you have like basic data of the project, and then this is like different information that you can have of the project. Here you can go to people, so community, so you can see who are the people who are involved with the project in different roles. You can show also spaces that where is it in the map. Also, for example, the documentation that people or city council can upload it. So all these, for example, documentation or here debates or commentaries from people, you can see it also here in the timeline in order. But this is like a filter that you can go directly to. Okay, what is the documentation, or what are the debates or commentaries and so on. Also the same, for example, for people. So you have your timeline, and you have like different data from you, like interest that you have, or capacities, or whatever. And then the idea is that the tool can cross this interest or capacities with the tags that, for example, projects have, or also for other people. So here they're going to have like project that you maybe you are interested on, because I don't know, it's in your neighborhood, and you said that you are interested in sport, and it's going to be built. I don't know, whatever. So and also for people. So it's easier to connect with projects around you that are going on around you, or with people that have the same interests and things like that.
Yep.
Here, this is like work in progress, but it's like the same. You can see what are the projects that these are linked, or I don't know.
From what I see. But it would be great if you could send it to me. I'd be interested in viewing it in a better resolution for sure.
Okay. Yeah, of course I can send you. And then we have this is like general. This is like our general ideas for the Cide Madrid, and then we have been working also in the specifically in the execution part of the project. We don't have the like the graphic already, but it's going to be something like this, because the Cide Madrid is working in a similar way for legislation and laws, and it's about to make a better description or definition of the ideas that already have been approved. Like, for example, okay, we have the 200 proposals, and now City Council, people from City Council has to make from that an execution description of the project. So to do that, instead of doing by their own, is going to build like a draft of that description with the data that they have from the proposal the citizen made. And it's going to make this in an open document, like a Google Docs. So people can make like documents and can argue to trying to read between the community that is behind that proposal and the people from City Council, trying to make a better description about that. Because sometimes, for example, okay, they want a playground, okay, but we need to make a specific description about which kind of urban furniture do we have in that playground. What is going to be that furniture, for example? I don't know, whatever. So this kind of decision can be made by citizens and by neighbors. So it's going to be like in this kind of Google Doc view that you can make that comments in the document. And then the idea is not to close down the document here through the digital platform. The idea of this document is City Council start this kind of draft about the execution of the project, the description of the project, and then everyone, the community that is behind that proposal, or people which are behind that proposal, and City Council can start the debates here. And the idea is to then go with the main problems that start here and go to a physical workshop. And then in that physical workshop, people is going to finally make the final decisions about that proposal. And then City Council finally can finish this document with everything. When City Council finish this document, can also again upload the final version in the interface of the proposal here, so everyone is going to see it, and then citizen can go here and see that okay, is what we were talking about in the workshop, and it's about what we're talking about. It's like the last check, and then from that, what we are trying to describe then is that for some proposal, not all of them, but some proposal has to something to as with urban intervention, has like a prototyping phase before the final execution.
Okay.
So it's like to make a real one-one model of the proposal. For example, this is one example that, where is it? I want to check some photos. This is a participatory process that people from CivicWise made some months ago, and it's about a square. So they make like in different days they make like different workshops, and then finally they achieve like a design for that square. So and in this point, when you have the final design of the square, it can be like the same point here. Okay, you build that document, you build that design of the project, and you have the final design. You can go to this prototyping phase where you build the project with low research, and it's like, for example, this kind of balloons represent trees, and here they build I don't know the word in English, is not a stair, it's a I don't know how to say it in English. It's the, how is it? It's not a stair,
you can write the Spanish word in there, and either I understand it or Google Translate does. So.
Galería is, I don't know how to say in English.
We are getting immersive video. That was beautiful. Also, yeah. Anyway, that was funny. The window came again and again and again. The same window. I'm not sure about that word. My Spanish is not that good for sure.
Breches? Doesn't sound.
Criterio, bleachers, it says. I don't really.
Well, I mean, here we can put in Google Images. Is this? What is the word for this? The seats in.
Like for people sitting on.
Yeah.
Yeah. An auditorium kind of. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, here, like they build this with these little boxes. So in the future, this is going to be trees, and here you're going to have this with wood, and here you're going to have like a fountain, and I don't know, whatever. So it's like a make celebration of the end of this participatory process for some proposals.
That's really cool, and one thing we have often told people when we're presenting on PP project is something that we haven't done in Reykjavik but would like to be doing, is that when you have an idea or something like a meeting, then instead of having a meeting, you should have a party. You should have a place where people come to discuss, but not in a maybe also in a formal way. But the main focus should be on just people meeting up, talking to each other, shaking hands, pointing out what they want to do and things like that. Yeah. And because this physical thing, it's really, really important. It's the way we have done our communication since thousands of years, and it's only in the last 20 or so that we moved it online. And it's cool. Obviously, online is so many things we couldn't do before, but to believe that we can throw out all those centuries of communication experience for something that's just a few years old, it just doesn't make sense when you think about it. So we really must have the physical interaction between people as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 points. It's, I can hear me in your microphone. I don't know if.
Yes, I can hear you.
No, but I'm here like. I'm
yes,
hearing me in your.
I understand. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I don't know if it's here or not. I think that it's not here. Maybe. Let me check, because there is an interesting project that make also this prototyping phase, but in another point of view, which is also like a celebration, of course, because it's like everyone in the place, the building, the thing, but it has also this idea to not just to celebrate it, but so you can test the place, you can test the idea that you are that you have for that space. So
yeah,
because in this case, this was just for one day, was like this kind of celebration and general view of the design. But in this one that I'm trying to show you, if I can.
I just realized that there's like 10 minutes to the next meeting. So
Okay.
But we can, if you want to, we can arrange another chat. This is most useful and enjoyable to me as well. So if you want to, but I can't skip that.
Okay. No, just I just wanted to show you more or less our idea, so you can. I'm going to send you also. So
yeah, okay, cool, definitely. Yeah.
If you have also any idea that comes to your mind, any feedback about whatever, you can.
Yes, definitely.
You can tell us.
I mean, send me anything that you think you would want to get feedback on, for sure. I mean, it's for many reasons.
Okay.
We really want to help you in every way that we can, because for many reasons. Both because it's a brilliant project that you're doing, and also for personal reasons, because the times I've been to Madrid and the people I met from there, it's my kind of people. See what I mean? So.
Okay. I'm going to send you the graphic, the description document, and also the link to the website that we made for the project. That we are going to. I mean, right now you can find there everything about the project, and we are going to upload there like the final documents for the projects and wherever. So you can also check it out if you want. It's in Spanish, but maybe you can.
Not a problem. I can read simple Spanish, and Google Translate does the rest. And
okay.
I can see when Google Translate is doing stupid things and figure it out. So it's good exercise for me as well. So.
Okay. So well, thank you, and maybe we can set we can arrange another meeting next week. I don't know. We can talk about it. I'm going to send you the email with what we are doing, and if you have any idea, you can tell us. And
do you want to schedule a meeting now, or should we just be in contact?
Well, right now I don't know, because next week is going to be maybe complicated for me.
Okay, no problem. Just send me the document, and I'll have a read through them and send you an email back, and we'll find a time for another chat for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
cool.
Thank you for now, man.
Thank you, Gunnar.
And best of luck with your project. It's really ambitious.
Thank you.
I like what you guys have been doing. So it's great to be a part of that, even a small part.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, another time. Ciao.
Ciao.